Hey, you beautiful beings. Welcome to Empowered Human with Nina Garcia. I am your host, and you are listening to the throwback episodes. Yeah, I have officially taken a pause on creating new episodes for the podcast so that I can focus on writing the book. It became very clear that while I have loved doing the podcast, I'm getting these episodes out every week to you all piecemeal. I was like, no more, no more. You all were like, please, please, can you get us all those skills and tools, Nina, in one area so that we can do the empowered human journey, so that we can really see what it's like from start to finish? To which I say, yes, absolutely. Let me get this to you. Yes. So what you're going to be hearing is this. You're going to be hearing throwback episodes from all 6 seasons, okay? It's not going to be every episode, so don't freak out on me yet. But it is going to be some of the episodes that were highlighted, that were popular, that we think, maybe you all missed and we want to bring it back. You're going to be hearing throwback episodes, and I am going to be listening along with you. I too want to hear about the journey and experience the journey that I had as we moved from Triggered Can We Play With That, the original podcast, all the way to Empowered Human with Nina Garcia. So you're going to hear personal stories. You're going to hear interviews. You're going to be given skills in every episode. Yes, you're going to be given tools in every episode for you to become skilled in. It is totally up to you whether you want to listen. If it's not the episode for you, skip to the next week, right? You just take what works for you, leave what doesn't. And if there's some stuff you're curious about, why don't you just go ahead and put that on the shelf? The podcast has always been about putting resources in the hands of people without needing to pay for it, right? And so this is no different. Even with these throwback episodes, what you're going to hear is this. We're going through, just as I said, you're going to still hear me talk at the beginning of each episode, letting you know, hey, we've had a transition. You're going to hear the original intro to the episode. You're going to hear the show music, and then you're going to hear the full original episode. This could mean that dates are off, that times are off, that people are talked about, that may no longer be in our lives, right? Just be aware of that. At the very end of the episode, you're going to see this face again come back to remind you that it was a throwback episode and to maybe offer you some adventure challenges as you move from week to week, right? Though the format of the episode did change over the years that we've done this podcast, the value is still there. So if you like something, definitely hit me up on Instagram at dramatherapist Nina and be like, Nina, I love that throwback episode about XYZ thing. Yes, fill in the blank with that. Let me know. And if there's something that you're looking for in the meantime, also hit me up on Instagram at dramatherapist Nina and let me know. Otherwise, stay curious and enjoy the ride, folks. I'll be right along there with you. Welcome to Empowered Human, the dramatically playful podcast that invites you to heal humanity, the one within you, me, and the world at large. I'm your host, drama therapist, empowerment specialist, and not to mention empowered human, Nina Garcia. And I'm so stoked you're joining me on the journey. Every Wednesday, you are invited to explore transforming from powered to empowered with genuinely human stories of courageous existence, healing from invalidation, and truly belonging to you. So wherever you are on the spectrum, from empowerment curious to empowered human ambassador, this podcast is designed to humanize. Get ready to lean into your edge, heal your worldview, and finally belong to you. This is Empowered Human. Hey everybody, welcome back. Nina here. So in the next 15-ish minutes, we typically have, I share a concept, we work on a tool or a skill, and then by the end you hear a story and I sort of apply that concept, tool, skill to that story, and then I leave you with some like homework for the week, something for you to practice so that you can become just a better human being, right? And this week, as I continue to figure out how does one make an effective podcast? We're going to flip the script. I'm actually going to start with the story. I'm going to introduce the concept after that, apply the tool skill, and then I'm going to send you home with homework. So let's see how it goes with our focus today, which is empowering yourself to pull rank. And let me explain a little bit about what that means. When we're triggered, our emotions have hijacked us. This whole podcast, every episode, is dedicated to empowering you to be able to make intentional choices so that your emotions do not hijack you, but that you are able to make decisions, right? With greater intention, knowing what the consequences, right? Thinking about what the consequences might be. So again, empowering yourself to pull rank before your emotions hijack you. This requires a lot of self-awareness, y'all. I think it is maybe one of the most taken for granted things is this basic skill of self-awareness, and it is a tool. It is something that can be practiced, right? We don't all have the wonderful gift of the self-awareness card in our, deck at birth, so to speak, the cards that we've been handed at birth. But it is something that we can practice, and heck, you can do it here for free. So here is story time. Let's take a breath. Check in, get it settled. The story does involve cursing. I'm going to drop an F-bomb so that I can accurately tell the story in the way that it was experienced by myself in the moment. If you have sensitive ears, if you find you're going to be triggered by that, take care of yourself. Do what you need. Pause it. Don't listen to it. Whatever you need. I'll still be here. So this story happened a bit ago, and I was driving. Just gotten out of Houston traffic, long day. Yes, I'm feeling tired. It's the end of the day. The sun is still out, but it's waning. It's maybe like 5, 6-ish p.m. And I have just exited 59. I am stopped at a light that is right outside the feeder. And there is a gentleman on the side of the road, presumably homeless. And he comes up to my car. My windows are closed. Again, the light is red. He comes up to my car and he's asking for money. And I say through the window, I'm sorry, dude. And I do that little symbol for money with my hands and I shake my head no. And I say, I don't have any cash. And I'm really specific about this. This is a line that I've actually rehearsed because these situations can cause anxiety. And the reality is I don't have anything, right? And regardless of whether I did or not, in this moment, that is the line that I have definitely rehearsed, and that's what I said. I said, I don't have any cash. And I looked right at him. I'm very intentional in these moments. I want to acknowledge that he's a human being, that I'm a human being, and that this is a rough situation, right? I don't know his life, and it doesn't matter whether it's a scam or whether it's real and he could benefit from it, right? It doesn't matter. In this moment, all I know is that another human being is asking me for something that I am not willing or able to provide. And so, again, I looked at him honestly, intently, and I said to him, I don't have any cash. And he looks back at me and he pauses for a second and he says, well, I don't fucking believe you. I think you're a fucking liar, just like the last 23 people who told me they don't have anything. He's pissed. He's livid, and you can see it in him. His body is enraged. His arm is gesticulating, right? He's waving it in the air. He's pointing at me. And then he waves me away with his hands to walk down to the next car, which is behind me. During this time, I have stayed pretty still. I watched him as he did this. I didn't look away. I stayed calm. I continued to breathe. Another one of those tools, those skills you can practice that is so taken for granted. I continued to inhale, counted 4, and a nice long exhale out down to 6 or 8, right? And I know that I am not wanting to leave this moment with that sense of little bit of trigger that I definitely felt within me that said, this isn't right. I did not want to leave this moment without that closure. And so I sit there at the light and the light turns green and he's walking back from cars behind me. And I know that he's going to see this and look at me. And I wait and I look out my window and I wait for him to look at me. And he looks up at the light and he gesticulates to the light and he points at me and he says, well, go, the light is green. Right? He's still really angry. And I look at him and I just nod gently. And I look at him with compassion and I say, I know. And then I pause and I look at him and I say, again through the window, I say, it's a credit card world, man. Very simple. Nothing added extra, just the truth. It's a credit card world. I take a breath in knowing that that's my truth. That's all I can do. I feel closure in this moment. And it has caused the man to stop, to pause. And you can see all that anger, all that rage that was built up in him as tension melt away as he looks back at me with such a human gaze, y'all. And his hand goes to his heart. And he says to me through the window, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And he puts his hand up, right? Like that mea culpa. And I gently smiled at him, and he looked back at me, and I, released my foot from the brake, and I pushed on the gas, and I went through the green light. And I haven't seen that man since. But I get choked up over moments like this because we forget, I think, what it is to practice being human. We're busy playing a bevy of roles that we have intentionally taken, roles that people have thrust upon us, roles that we don't even know how to play, right? If we're stuck in the I don't know role. And I can't remember a single place where someone has actually asked me and required me to just be human and to ask myself what that even looks like and how I express that in my real lived world. Yes, it is what I work with on clients daily, but just think about that. When was the last time that somebody just asked you to be human? Not a teacher that was human, not a student that was human, not the best worker and remember how to be human and be a person. I mean, genuinely, just what is it to be a human? Right? What are the expectations and the standards? What's the story of what it is to just be human? And so I want to invite you in this moment to check in with your own body and what you're experiencing in this moment. A head-to-toe scan, a toe-to-head scan of, are you feeling misty-eyed? Are you feeling compassion? Are you feeling sadness, anger, joy, boredom? Right? What are you feeling? Just check in with it. And whatever it is, I want to invite you to accept it. Right? Now that you have an awareness of it, I want to invite you to accept it and to then ask yourself, how do you move forward with greater intention in your own life? How do you empower yourself to pull rank? Because when we go back through this story, at the moment that that man was triggered by the fact that I said, I have no money, at the moment that I was triggered by the fact that he was yelling at me, blaming me for the last 23 people, and the fact that I would not or could not give him money, right, what he asked for, how in that moment can we empower ourselves to pull rank so that our emotions, which have been triggered, which is so natural, how do we empower ourselves to not let our emotions hijack us at that point, but empower ourselves to make an intentional decision and acknowledge the different characters in the story, the different roles that are at play? Right? And we've talked about this in a previous episode, how we can imagine a moment and the different roles and characters. We're talking about a man who was, again, presumably homeless, a man who had a need for funds, right? Presumably again. As far as he knew me, I could have been a liar. This woman driving in a car, unwilling to give. As far as I knew, I was just a woman unable to give. Right? Not cash, not at that moment. And so moving forward this week, when you empower yourself to be aware of these moments, to accept how you're feeling in these moments, and then empower yourself to move forward with intention, that is how you empower yourself to pull rank on any of those inner pieces that have been stirred to the top, that are telling you that you're in danger, even when you may not be in actual lived danger in that moment, right? That it may not be your actual reality.
So that is what I'm leaving you with this week. I know this episode I feel was short and sweet, which is how I honestly hope all of the episodes are pretty short, pretty sweet, that they get you one main tool with a very real story of somebody else who's expressing their humanity in the world. Somebody else who is embracing empowerment and embodying the principles of that, to acknowledge that human being, that, yeah, they may be homeless on the side of the street and you're in your vehicle, right? To recognize and be aware of the factors of what makes humanity so human. There is so much more to the different layers of this moment, of this episode. I think that's one of the things we lose in an episode being so short and sweet, is that we miss the layers, right? At some point, it may even be reductive because we're missing the factors. Oh my goodness, the compounding factors of what it is to be homeless, or a man who's homeless, or what it is to be a woman who's privileged to drive a car, but who's also may have fund issues of her own, right? We don't know all of the facets of these character stories. But in that moment, what I want to invite you to do is to get back to that basic, what is it to be human? And empower yourself this week to be a better human being.
It's me again, reminding you that this was a throwback episode. I hope that you were able to take something from it, even one little nugget of wisdom, and use that between this week and next week, right? The purpose of these episodes is to give you tools. It is up to you to decide whether you want to become skilled in them. You picking up what I'm putting down? So take a tool, take something, a perspective, a moment, something that works for you, and use it in your life to transform hard conversations into teachable moments, to transform the way that you play with scary moments, right? To transform your life, to help make you the most courageous, most healing-oriented, most belonging person, right? No matter where you go, that you belong to yourself everywhere you go, right? Courage, healing, belonging, whatever it is that you are taking from this episode, take it with you so that you can get out there and live your most vibrant life, you beautiful human being, okay? All right, I'm signing off for now, but I'm gonna see you soon, okay? I'm gonna see you real soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being willing to explore healing your humanity on Empowered Human. I hope you found at least one new way to transform your worldview from powered to empowered. If you took something from the show, please take a moment of your time and subscribe to Empowered Human. And if it really nourished you, leave us a review. Your feedback helps me understand what our community needs. Not to mention, it helps others discover the empowered human life. So keep this last bit in mind. All the visual goodies come with me on Instagram at Drama Therapist Nina. Stay up to date there on upcoming episodes, behind the scenes goodness, and reels dropping knowledge. Thank you again for being part of the empowered human community. Until next time, stay curious.